There we go.
Maybe if I'm not on both.
Yeah, you got two of them up. There you go.
You see me?
No.
I don't. I see Ms. Macon. The
Do you see me?
words.
But
Nope.
now I can't hear you.
We can hear you. Hang on, let me
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, and see your forehead.
Hear me.
I can see the top of your head.
Yes,
Hold on.
I see the top of your head.
Chat. Okay.
Now we can see down to your mouth.
And she says she can't hear us. Oh, it says her bandwidth is low. Brian, have you guys got the premium Zoom?
Hell no, we can't afford that. What we look like?
Well, I just set that up for my CARES Act site. I'm wondering if
oh my God, I can hear y'all. I'm so excited. Yeah, this is great.
Yay.
Now mine's
okay, hold on. Here we go.
Mine's just the normal Zoom, but I just have better service than
reception
she does.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you know, if we get, you know, once again, I'm sorry, I'm not interjecting myself into the upper classes of management here, but you know, if this could get, I mean, you know, with this shit going on, we might be able to get fairly popular. You know, we'll just see, but I've got a premium account, so we you know, if we want to use that, that's all good. But
Sweet.
Anyway,
well,
so moving on, my queen, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, I'm here, but I'm here solely for moral support. Today, our focus is you, Rachel, and what you bring to the table. We know you've got a lot to tell people as far as, you know, the Small Business Administration situation and you know, whatever else they need to know in these trying and confusing times fiscally. You know, so basically, you know, the floor is yours.
Well, let me tell you what I've done. First of all, you know, I'm going to start with for everybody, including whoever tunes in at home or listens to this. None of what I'm saying is legal advice because I am not your lawyer, and this does not create an attorney-client relationship. I got to say that up front because the Bar Association requires it. This is an unprecedented situation that we're going through on COVID for so many reasons, and so many people are suffering. I did not limit myself just to the business aspect of what's going on because there are lots of people who, you know, the last survey I read, 80% of the US population didn't have $1,000 in an emergency. And that was before any of this shit happened. So I am seriously concerned that there are many people in the shit, and whenever that happens and you lump on top of it, you know, the billions of dollars in aid and programs, etc., the evil fuckers come out in droves. And this time I've got up to speed on some of the most diabolical bullshit that's happening right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through basically, you know, this is what you should do. This is who's out there to mess with you. Here's some of the programs, going to give them information on the websites to go to for good information and how to keep themselves safe. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing. I'm sure everybody would love to know that. I don't know anyone currently and or in the next 2 weeks span that has $1,000 disposable dollars at this point. Everybody that I know that is in the service industry is on their last, you know, like I said, we writers started to feel it in the last week or two, we've got no work.
Right.
You know, pretty much everyone that I know that had any amount of disposable income is now basically, what are we going to do? You know,
Right.
so I think that if you've got any clues on that, this would be
Absolutely. That's
the
and that's
time
what
to
I've
get-
set up.
this is the time to
I've set up a real world what you can do, because, you know, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to sound elitist, but, you know, I live in this little bubble
Uh-huh.
of people who are relatively secure. And one asshole I talked to the other day said, hell, you know, I'm going to put off my mortgage payments for 3 months and throw that in the stock market and buy some distressed stocks. I'm just like,
Wow.
are you kidding me?
Wow. And thank you. We appreciate that. That's okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm telling you, if enough of these dickheads do that, we're going to have a 2008
Uh-huh.
financial crisis on top of all this crap.
That's kind of what I'm foreseeing happening. Just because we've got, you know, people out here who the only thing that they're going to have to their name basically is what they've got in their 401k. So don't think that we're not going to see people scrambling as soon as it's feasible to start pulling 401k loans to, you know, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get back on top of their bills, you
Well,
know?
one of the good things that's out there that has happened is the IRS has said you can pull from your 401k and not suffer the tax consequences. You will have to pay the taxes, but you're not going to be penalized.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Now
so
that's
on
good
the
information.
IRS.gov website. So like I said, when I'm on a topic, you guys, and things come up that you know are real world problems, jump in and tell me, hey, what about this? Okay.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead, Rach. Do your thing.
All right. Well, let's start off with, first of all, you know, I went through Quora, and I'm going to go on a little mini rant at the beginning, because I'm seeing all these people politicize this bullshit, complain about the SBA. You know, why isn't this happening faster? Why isn't that happening faster? You know, Trump just did this to make himself look good. Put that the fuck aside, okay? The government is trying to help people. It's the government. You can't get money out fast without problems. You can't even do it under good circumstances. I talked to somebody at the SBA. These people are working 24/7 to try and get this up and running. So
Wow.
people, you know, shut the fuck up and just, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen a hell of a lot faster than it ever would. So
Exactly.
it's annoying. So
there's a pit bull in the picture, but you know.
that's okay. The pit bulls need help too.
I have photogenic dogs. Pootie,
Okay.
please get your.
The animals are not the ones I worry about. But, well, no, I'm sorry. I absolutely worry about animals, because most people who are taking care of animals are decent human beings.
She didn't like the thought that anybody was going to be taking a picture and it wasn't going to include Puffin. So she's decided that if there's any taxes being done, that she should know firsthand. So, okay, Puffin, you can know about taxes too, baby. Nobody's going to take tax knowledge from you. Okay?
Well, I did notice when you know, went off, because there were, I don't know how many different questions you answered within a couple day, you know, time frame. That's when I figured, or Rachel's on one right now, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when I started getting into this stuff, it was more of a curiosity question, and it's always, and you know, from living in Houston, those $50 a bag ICE people and those scammers and stuff like that pissed me off to no end, but there wasn't a goddamn thing I could do about it. Here, if I can give some people some good information, I can cut some of these off at the knees and save people who could possibly be put in a worse situation when they're already in a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
So believe me, that is my, you know, that is my goal, because frankly, you know, I'm only one person. I can't answer everybody's questions, but I can at least keep them from getting fucked, hopefully. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
my goal being, okay, first of all, let's discuss how to be decent human beings in a horrible situation.
I don't know what kind of audience you're pandering to, because I don't have no decent human beings that listen to me, but you know, if you got to get the basics.
I'm going to assume that there are some out there. So number one is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like the
Mm-hmm.
guy who told me he was going to take his 3-month holiday from paying his very high mortgage and buy stock with it. Don't.
Wow.
If you're one of those people who are at home, don't have to work remote, whatever, and you can pay your bills, fucking pay them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is not a do what you want, get out of jail free, take a vacation from spending money. If you're lucky enough to be able to pay your bills and you've got a cushion, pay them. Number
Mm-hmm.
2, there are assistance packages out there, lots of them. Don't abuse them. If you don't need it, leave it for other people. Money is finite. Yes, the government can print it, they can take loans, etc. But why? Leave it for the people who need it now, because there are a hell of a lot more of them than there are of us. I'm saying us being the people that can survive for a while. And last but not least, I saw a lot of this on Quora. Well, I've got enough, I don't want, maybe I want my stimulus, maybe I don't want my stimulus check, blah, blah, blah. These economic impact payments, the $1,200 that everybody is so massively confused about, it's going to be an automatic system. You're going to get some money if you're in the qualifying class. If you get it and you don't need it, donate it. But don't be an idiot. Donate it to a cause that needs it. Someone personal you need it. Use it to buy dog food. Donate it to the shelter, whatever. But do something good with it, okay? Now, I seem to keep going off on rants. I'll try and keep this a little bit more normal. So let's first talk about the bad behavior and scams that are out there. Because did we lose April?
Oh, we might have.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Okay. So
It's
let me
just my
tell you.
cheap Chinese internet. Don't worry about it.
Nah. Oh God, China's at the bottom of everything. All right. Let's first start out with what I think is most important. The most important information that I can give anybody and everybody is how to avoid bad behavior and scams. Because with this much money out there and these many people in distress, they're everywhere. And these are some of the newest ones I've ever seen. Of course, they're kind of like the COVID. I mean, they mutate every time something happens. The most horrifying one that I saw today is for people who receive Social Security. They're being called or contacted to tell them that COVID has forced the shutdown of the Social Security offices. Benefits will be suspended or discontinued unless they call a number, and then whoever they talk to either asks them for personal information, banking information, sometimes in addition to some upfront money to keep their benefits flowing. That is a lie. Under all circumstances, it's a lie. Your Social Security benefits are going to keep coming. They're not going to decrease, and they're not going to be affected in any way by the closure of those offices. So ignore them. Emails. There's going to be a ton of emails that look like they come from banks or any number of government agencies. Don't click on anything you see in any of those emails. Never go to a flow-through website. If you need information from the IRS, the SBA, the Department of Labor, Unemployment, go directly to that website, because phishing is a dangerous, dangerous thing. And once again, second to avoiding them is reporting them. So forward those, if it has to do with these stimulus checks, those need to go to phishing@irs.gov. And what I may do is, after this podcast, put together a list of places to report, because, unless people have a pad and a pen, I don't want them to have to listen to me again to go through this. So let's talk about being contacted by telephone calls. Never, ever give out any personal information to a person you do not know. Social Security number, banking information, whatever. The IRS, the banks, everybody is too busy with these programs and these benefits to make phone calls. They are not going to be calling to verify your banking information. They're not going to be calling you to verify your social security number. Don't answer the phone. If you do, shut them down. Somebody who calls and says, I'm one of the people who is now specialized in this, I can help you, don't bite. They are more often than not scammers. There are some professionals out there and some people who have gotten up to speed on this, but once again, don't pay anybody to help you until you have checked them out and vetted them. But 99.999% of them are going to be scammers, because no one reputable is going to call you up and say, I know all about this and I can help you. Believe me, I've been studying it for a week and a half.
Rachel,
I don't even know. I'm not even.
That's a great point. That's a great point right there, Rachel, that nobody reputable will be calling you. I think that's the first thing that people need to understand, is that no attorney, Rachel, I know you and you still aren't cold calling me. You know, you're like, hey, check this out. This is a situation where I could probably help you. If you have time, give me a call, you know, but that's because we're friends, you know. No, Morgan & Morgan, now they're going to be around the corner chasing an ambulance, but they're not going to be cold calling former clients or whatever, you know, I can help you get your money. But no.
I mean, after this is all over, we're going to have TV lawyers on going, did you get fucked by Bank of America on the stimulus package? We can help. And that's,
right,
you know,
but that's
believe me, but that's going to be way down the road. That's going to
be another scenario like they did with the ambulance chasing. Call us if you've been involved in blah, blah, blah. Because am I wrong, Rachel? Isn't it illegal for an attorney to reach out to you unprompted? I'm pretty sure here in Florida that they can't do that.
They have changed the rules on attorney advertising. But one-to-one is still a no.
Okay, all right.
But it's not. Believe me, it's not the lawyers I worry about, because it's like that. Just for example, I think I told you about that Facebook thing I saw on the SBA website, or I put it in one of my posts. I put it in one of my posts. The guy who claims to be able to sell you a $39 package of legal advice about A to Z financial assistance under the CARES Act, and calls himself blah, 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 .legalshield.com. Now, Legal Shield is a massive organization, you know, and they're affiliated with the those big security guys. I can't remember who they are right now. Bottom line is, he's a fucking real estate agent out of Fort Lauderdale. And the SBA has left that link on their own official FB website or page for 2 weeks now. So people are clicking that and saying, oh, well, you know, it's on the official page of the SBA, and the SBA hadn't said his bullshit, so maybe he can help. No, don't. A lot of people like YouTube. You know, there are a lot of people like YouTube. I've already seen at least 2 or 3 guys, one of them wearing a gimme cap, you know, which I, of course, always wear to court. Backwards. Yeah, looks real official. And he's like, you know, he's like Mr. Expert on the financial stimulus bullshit. You know, if he's read the fucking first page of the CARES Act and understood what it meant, and it only says effective date, you know, I'll become Catholic.
She on a rip now, B. She's on a rip.
Oh, I'm gonna do a stand-up comedy act about you fuckers.
Listen. If they got a gimme cap, I promise you, this is not who you want to walk in court with.
Well, and you know, and even any sort of social media. I mean, I was on Quora, and you know, like I said, I'm trying to give what help I can, you know, without misleading people or anything. Because, this shit, I guarantee you, between the time we started talking and now, 4 things have changed in this whole stimulus package and all the benefits. It's changing. The landscape is shifting every 12 minutes. And I don't mean, I'm not saying that to alarm people, but it's just the bottom line is what we know now versus how this is all going to shake out, you know, is a what the fuck. We just don't know. And anybody who says they're totally up to speed, they know exactly what's going to happen, this is the deal, they're lying. And, you know, if anybody said that to me right there, I'd hang up the goddamn phone. Anybody who, let's just concentrate on, since Core is the only social media I use, let's concentrate on that. I looked at one question that had to do with the SBA packages that were in the CARES Act. The guy's credentials said he was a White House advisor, former, basically acted like he'd been sitting at the side of Mnuchin while this was all going on. And he was telling people these SBA deals were going to take months and months and months and months. And, you know, he advised XYZ, and it was just wrong. I put in the comments, your answer is wrong. He's misleading people. So if you ask questions on Quora, if you ask questions on Facebook, it's okay, go ahead. But your better source of information is going to be the actual government websites that run the program or the benefits that you're looking for. Okay? So don't trust somebody's credentials. You don't know who the hell I am. I mean, I know you, April, and I know you, Brian, but still, you know, basically you don't know who you're talking to on social media. And this isn't even a trust but verify situation. This is assume it's bullshit first and then move on.
Right. Now is not the time to be, you know, presuming that just because you have 100 mutual friends that you can believe what this person says. You know, I trust Brian implicitly, but just because, you know, somebody knows Brian, it doesn't mean I trust them implicitly, you know, because just because Brian knows what the hell he's talking about, that doesn't mean that everyone he knows. I mean, look who he pals around with. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, you know.
That's guilt by association.
Obviously, you can't go on that, you know. And I think that
I fucked up.
You know, that's
I really
something
did.
that people need to understand is that now's not the time for your trust in face. You know, don't presume that everyone has your best interest at heart, because I can assure you, Pumpkin, they don't. You know, today there was a big today there was a big article on Medium about this actor who is apparently selling a COVID cure and prevention pill.
Oh yeah.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Did you see that, Brian?
Yeah.
This guy apparently has never had a byline to his fucking name. Yeah, this son of a bitch. The only reason that I even stopped and looked at the article, not because I know the actor, but because I thought he was that Hispanic actor that I love so much, you know, the one that was in Training Day. And I love that dude so implicitly. But this guy is just like some unknown Hollywood actor who is, he had like a bit part in Iron Man, and now he's been selling for like $1 million. You can get a buy-in, you know, on, okay, this makes no sense. Why is it, you know, but yeah, there was a big article on Medium today about that. So, I mean, apparently if, you know, if this is what Hollywood actors have been reduced to, don't think that your neighbor Bob down the street is not going to try to pull some shady shit too.
Well, and one thing that this all revolves around, to me, is the press. I don't care whether it's Fox or CNN. The press has been totally irresponsible. They are freaking people out, and people are panicking and looking for answers everywhere. I mean, they're causing mass confusion. You know, because let's just take the stimulus checks, what everybody's calling the stimulus checks. You know, everybody in the nation is going to get Y, you know, immediately. Well, bullshit, people. It's not happening that way. I'll explain it in a minute, but don't believe everything you hear on television, for God's sake. There's, you know, the lunacy that is surrounding this situation, because it is not like Harvey, just Houston, not like a forest fire, like Los Angeles or California, not like Florida. It is nationwide. And it is varying levels of people are varying levels of afraid. So it all depends on what you're afraid of, but they're taking advantage at every level. And once again, same thing. If you go Googling for how can I get help with X, and you come up with, you know, Joe's website that was set up last week, but it looks pretty good. Well, hell, Wix, you know, I could set up one of those in 15 minutes. So once again, unless you go directly to the source, irs.gov, sba.gov, whatever, you know, just don't waste your time. It's much better spent helping yourself through legitimate means. And I'll repeat it once more for those who didn't get it for the first time. No one reputable is going to tell you they know exactly what's going on because they're a lawyer, an accountant, a whatever. We don't. We're trying to keep up with the shifting landscape that is rapidly changing in the best way we know how to help people. But you know, any words to that effect are a lie. So I think I've made my point more than once on that. So, okay, let's talk about.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, that's what people need to hear, is that regardless of whether or not your neighbor is a tax accountant who has done this for 28 years, you know, that doesn't mean that they know what is coming or what is actually going on, because nobody knows what's going on. Nobody. We're all with our thumb in our ass right now.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, I don't want people to be scared. I'm just telling you, the professionals out there, we're dealing with unicorns. I've never seen a forgivable loan. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a unicorn. If I pet it, will it bite me in the ass? You know.
Yeah, I found that they usually do. They usually do bite you in the ass. So
okay.
Don't pet the unicorn. It's
I'll put that on my things not to do.
You should do that.
Let's talk about, because the one thing that I have seen like 1,800,000 questions of on Quora in particular is what everybody's calling the $1,000, $1,200 stimulus check issue. Okay, folks, the official name is economic impact payment. So if anybody calls you or sends you something that talks about stimulus checks, they probably don't know what they're talking about. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, you know, that's one of the hallmarks of fraud in this situation. So some of the bad information that's out there, let me clarify. This is not an every month payment. This is a one-time deal and is being run by the IRS. You can find all the information at irs.gov/coronavirus. There's a big beige banner on that page that says everything you need. And now they can say this, everything you need to know about the economic impact payments. It's updated regularly, so they really should say everything you need to know, you know, from 5 minutes ago, because it may change in a few. But they're updating it regularly. Now, I'll just try and hit the high spots and not get into the weeds. It's an automatic program. If you made less than 75 grand a year gross, or adjusted gross income, you're in, except for a few limited categories. If you filed in 2018 or 2019, or you're a Social Security recipient, it's going to be an automatic function. So don't worry about, I mean, there's nothing else you need to do. Unless in some instances, something has changed significantly between 2018 and you haven't filed 2019. The first wave is supposed to start about April 9th. If they have your direct deposit information, that's how it's going to go. If they don't have your direct deposit information, there will be a secure portal supposedly set up by mid-April. Once again, they're not going to email the world saying, here's the portal. You have to go to the IRS site to find it. If they don't have your direct deposit on your tax return, well, like I said, you can go to the secure portal and enter it. Otherwise, you're going to get a paper check in the mail. But the IRS, in mission critical status, has shut down the taxpayer advocate service. They're not answering the phone. They're not answering the phone for me, who gets to call the professional line, and they're not answering their general phone because they're just too busy. So check the irs.gov website coronavirus section. Basically, if you qualify and your individual gross adjusted was 75 grand, married filing jointly was 150, under 150, you're going to get the full amount plus $500 per child under 17. As far as specific, I'm not going to get any more specifics because that's beyond the scope, and it's, frankly, maybe I'm interested in it, but it bores the fuck out of everybody else. So look out for on the stimulus checks in particular. Texts, emails, calls, letters. There will be none. Nobody needs to verify any of your info. Nobody needs your social security number. Nobody needs your banking information. If anybody calls and says, I can help you get it faster, they're lying. It's wrong. And don't believe them. Don't hire them. It's a scam. That's for sure. These are just going to be, an automated deal, because frankly, the IRS is too damn busy doing anything else to listen to their friend Joe and say, hey, put Brian at the head of the line. Not going to happen. The other, and this one's diabolical, that is happening is you may receive a check that's in some odd amount. It's going to have a number on it that says, please call and verify the information or so we can help you cash it. No, just don't. The check is fake. They're fishing for your information, and it's a sure way to get screwed. So that is not going to happen.
Now that right there is diabolical, because that if you send a check to people, that's the only thing they want to do. They're just like, oh my God, this is the answer to my prayers, whatever. And some of these elderly people, they fall for that stuff nonstop.
When I heard about that Social Security one where they were calling people to tell them their benefits were going to be shut down, yeah. I'd like to go shoot every one of those motherfuckers in the head.
And that, to me, this is the worst of humanity, doing shit like that, So I hope that at the end of this, they've got special people to round them up and put them all, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere where they can be waterboarded or whatever the hell we're going to do. Well, I'd like to just, throw peas at them or something, because I'm sure death by 1,000 peas would suck. So,
well, that's what I'm saying, to the extent you can get some information, if you're, relatively young and with it, get as much information as you can from them and report them.
Okay, yeah. And see, that's handy information. If you can suck the information out of the con artist, please do so. So that
get them to give you something, and especially if they contact you over the internet, man, save that stuff and forward it to the government.
Exactly. Get your screenshots of whatever you have, people, so that way, there's at least something to chase down. I mean, it's not guaranteeing that anybody is going to be doing so, but at least give them something to work with, because
right. Well, and to the extent you can, make sure you save the whole email, because there's stuff you can find from the back end.
Mm-hmm. All right.
On the email front, I've had, with all the utilities I've been contracted with, we've gone through, kind of phishing email detection drills, if you will. And there have been some real ones that I should say, an actual real phishing email that I've had to report a few times. But one thing that, and this depends on, what email service you're using. But I know on some that I have, I can see the sender's email address without opening it, and I can tell straight away, even though they say, let's say in the title of the email, it's from, as you mentioned, from IRS or from others, some supposed reputable business, and then you go to the actual address and it's just something completely left field. I've seen that a number of times where I've had to report some of those as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
Okay,
like
now
the guy that was. Hmm?
am I confused in thinking it should, Rachel, have a .gov extension if it's somebody government affiliated, correct?
By and large, some of them do have org.
Okay, org or
.org.
gov is what we're looking for.
Yeah, some of them do have .org.
Okay.
Right. And so with some of the emails that I've had to report over the years, I was looking for that, .gov, .org, or even .edu in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just something
Exactly.
completely just out of left field. Even the name that they give you is not the name that's in the body of the email address. Just things like that.
Right.
So that's something that people can look out for as well whenever they see an email like that. I've seen, I get quite a few of those every day now, especially. I got those as well, during the various fires, especially the one up where I live, the car fire in 2018.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the depravity of humanity, there were so many um, people posing as contractors and trying
Oh.
to just rob these older people who had just lost their homes, and they're trying to rebuild, and these guys will fake their contractor license numbers and try to get, and some of them actually did get thousands of dollars out of the pockets of these elderly people. Luckily, a lot of them were caught, but still, it just goes to show anytime there's any kind of catastrophe or disaster, you mentioned the hurricanes earlier, some of the fires I've been on now, it never fails. These people come out all the time and try to take advantage of the situation.
Oh, I mean, I heard from somebody who paid a roofer $40,000.
Jesus.
Disappeared.
I mean, now's not the time to show what a complete and total douchebag you are. Now is the time, just for once in your fucking life, if you're going to be a good person, let it be now. Let it be now that you're not trying to rob somebody's granny, that you're not trying to take the food out of somebody's mouth, because this is the serious shit right now, y'all. Like, there's people out here that don't know if they're going to be able to feed their kids tomorrow, and right now is not the time to try to show everybody how you can outmaneuver X government program, or how you can, you're smarter than Clem down the street and you can, talk him out his bank account information, because eventually that shit's going to catch up to you. Trust and believe that with everything the government is going to put out, they're going to have people out there to make sure that your bitch ass is caught if you're running around trying to get in somebody's stimulus check, if you're, robbing somebody's granny, if you're, getting baby girl's grocery money, if you're, whatever, they're going to get you eventually. Please don't be the bitch that's on the 10 o'clock news. Don't do that, because I promise you, all three of us finna laugh at y'all. Me, Rachel, Brian finna be cracking the fuck up as they haul your ass out in handcuffs. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, April, what I want to do is I want to cut off as many of those assholes
as possible. So please, if you listen to anything, just understand what I'm telling y'all, okay? When Rachel's sitting here telling y'all, A, number one, the IRS ain't finna call y'all, okay? B, number two, the attorney ain't finna call y'all. Just like Brian says, look at the information in the fucking emails. If you can't, if you feel challenged by, being able to, read and deduce any real information from it, call somebody else to come and help you. Somebody that can understand and can tell you these names don't match up. This is not from a .org. This is not, get someone that to help you. Call your granddaughter, call somebody, to come and read through it with you before you give these people your information. Just please don't do it.
Well, and what's happened recently with, well, not recently, in the last couple of years, with all of these new whatevers. I mean, when I set up my CARES Act website to help people with these SBA things, I'm CARES Act .guru. That's just because I'm so fucking smart and cute. But somebody could put IRS Gov in the body and whatever the fuck afterwards. So you might see IRS Gov and click on it. I'm just telling you,
Right.
if you get an email that says it's from the IRS, the SBA, your bank, whatever, I don't care if you see the name, what looks like the official site in there, you're going to end up somewhere else.
Right.
So
Right.
just, it's Nancy Reagan. Just say no, okay?
Yeah.
Just say no.
Exactly. And listen, I like Nancy Reagan because that bitch always had a nice manicure and her hair was not moving. So, you know, I mean, if we got to go to the Nancy Reagan just say no days, you know, just
Yeah,
remember,
aside from the fact that I
woman had a
didn't
good
say no to
manicure,
what she wanted me to say no to, it was, you know,
we all went to college, Rachel. We understand.
you know, I'd like to say it was just college, April, but
Oh Jesus!
anyway,
Lord have mercy.
I'm taking the fifth on all that. So
Of course you are. All right. Back to your thing, Rach. I'm sorry. Back to
all
your
right, let
thing.
me see. Where was my thing? What was I doing? Let's see. We were talking about the stimulus checks and this was another inventive one. I'm liking this. I went ahead. I went out and researched scams in general. The CARES Act, the stimulus package, the whole thing, does not have a deal with Costco or Walmart that's going to get you $100 of goodies. Okay. So
Hold on. Are you telling me that this is real information that is going around right now? That the CARES Act may have a deal going? I'm sorry, I almost choked on my macaroni and cheese.
It's one of the scams people are running. They're calling.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Okay, I've not seen this one. This is new to me. So for real, when I tell you I almost choked on my mac and cheese now, I almost had a shell lodged in my throat. That is ridiculous.
I don't want to bore you.
No, this is good information. We need to, because that's the type of thing that just regular old people are going to be like, oh, okay, well, you know, if they're, you know, sure, Walmart does, you know, some sort of situation at holidays with blah, 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 X, and, you know, I mean, that's damn near believable to some people. So, you know, let's definitely get that out there, because that's something that I can't, these people are fucking heinous.
Oh, I know. Like I said, this one has spawned some incredibly diabolical bullshit, and the problem is, you know, the people who are just this goes back to the IRS. You know, since I do tax resolution, one of the things that happens, of course, anytime tax season rolls around, they call up people and start the fear factor. You know, we're the IRS, you owe taxes, we're going to arrest you in 45 minutes, take you to jail. We got a whole new area here with all the stimulus stuff, because these people can call up now and say, hi, I'm Jane from the IRS and we've got $1,200 for you. I just need to know X, Y, and Z and it's yours.
Yeah.
It's not fear anymore. They're playing on people's, you know, great. You know, it's a thing.
Right, because everyone's in such a scenario where, oh my God, you know, that money is going to be so, you know, I need it so bad. I'm going to be able to pay the light bill. I'm going to be able to, you know, put a little bit of groceries in the house, whatever's left down to the grocery store. You know, this is something that, this is all people have coming in at this point. Most people that, you know, I mean, my God, the service industry, I can't even, if I was a bartender right now, that money would be all I had coming in at least for another month around here, because
I told you I found that assistance package for the bartenders.
That's right. Yep, you sure did.
That's on a local level,
but it's, you know, this thing is just, if you really are the type of person that's going to take advantage of this type of shit, you know, I hope to God there's a special place in hell for these people, because this is not like anything we've ever lived through prior. And I hope to God we never live through again. But people, they're not running a deal with Walmart and Costco. Okay, Rachel, just listen. Trust me, if they were, she would have let me know, because, you know, my ass would have been down there picking up my shells and cheese and my dog food. Y'all already know how I feel about it, you know. So, and we got dog food today, Rachel, so you did it right. Thank you.
I don't know what I'm going to do with the 50 pounds that's sitting in my living room.
I said, who's going to lift these fucking boxes?
Yeah. I mean, we'd had a conversation the night before where you called me the smartest woman you've ever known, and then 50
dog food to yourself.
The hell I need a nap.
I love it. Lord have mercy. But yes, you know, it's just me being straight with y'all. Please, please, people, please, for the love of God, if you ever listen to anything that comes out my mouth, please just be smart this one time, okay? Get your kids to run through it with you. Call your sister over in Wichita. I don't care who you get to run through the shit with you. Just please don't fall for this dumb shit right now. Please don't do it, okay? No Walmart, no Costco, no nothing. Check the extensions on the emails. Do as she's saying, please.
Okay, and now let's move on to the people who are unemployed, unfortunately, as a result of this. There is a section of the CARES Act 2020 about relief for workers. It's called Pandemic Unemployment Assistance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was telling the dogs that they can't move. They're making the internet go bad. It's this Asian internet that we have. Everybody got to sit in a certain space. So,
it's a good thing I'm not charging you by the hour for this.
I know, right?
Anyway.
Hey, y'all costing me money. Stop moving.
Now, just to give you guys an idea of what's going on out there, by mid-March, 3.28 million new unemployment claims had been filed.
Jesus Christ.
Related to this. So I've talked to a lot of people who are just like, look, you know, I'm self-employed, I'm a gig worker, you know, I don't qualify for unemployment. The Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program has expanded the eligible categories to gig workers, the self-employed, contractors, people who normally would not have been covered under the regular unemployment package or unemployment programs. They've expanded the period of benefits to 39 weeks, and they've expanded the actual benefits themselves. Now, this is going to be different from state to state. The CARES Act was a national, you know, bill, but you have to go find out what your state benefits and requirements are. That is at careeronestop.org, which is the Department of Labor, is a Department of Labor website they've set up specifically so you can find out what your state is doing about this. Now, there's also another way you can go directly to your state's unemployment office, and they'll have everything on there about how to apply for this and who can apply and walk you through it. Okay.
Now, Rachel, that's very good information right there because, you know, being self-employed myself, you know, and never being able to qualify for anything under unemployment, anything under, you know, I think a lot of people have always in the past been turned off by anything to do with unemployment because there's a hoop jumping system, you know, and when you're self-employed, when you're whatever, you don't necessarily fall under the same guidelines for, like, say, seeking employment. You know, I can't tell you 5 places that I applied because I don't apply the same way. You know, I send my handy dandy little article to 20, you know, editors, and if they pick it up, they pick it up. If they don't pick it up, I get a rejection letter in about 8 weeks, you know. So my version of looking for work is much different than other folks' version of looking for work. Now, do you know if any of the guidelines have changed as far as the hoops that they make you jump through? I think a lot of people would be interested in knowing that.
Yeah, well, this is what's happening for self-employed gig, you know, anybody who basically was not covered under employment. I mean, I'm a self-employed lawyer, have been for 30 years. I could apply for this because it's meant to cover people whose business, and because my business shut down when the IRS went mission critical. You know, if I hadn't found this neat new hobby of, you know, apocalypse lawyer, you know, I could apply for that because I'm now covered.
Right.
It's not, you know, I went through it on the Texas workforce website just to see how difficult it was, and it's complicated. I mean, there's a lot of boxes to fill out, etc. But as far as the requirements that you be applying for jobs, etc., they don't say they've waived them, but the logic of it says they probably have, because I mean, you can't have interviews.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. Yeah, you can't. It's not like you can, and there's no one there to receive your emails if you're, whatever. I'm guessing that would be the mindset behind it, is that
Right.
it's gone down to the point where, basically only the most critical of the most critical, Brian, are out there, in the real world getting anything done. The rest of us at the house sitting on our fat asses eating Oreos. And I'm not saying I'm eating Oreos, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, and so you've basically got different things happening now where you don't have an office full of Nancy's down there that are verifying, checking off your paperwork, whatever. And I would presume it's the same thing on a government level. Would I be wrong in my presumption?
I'm sorry, what do you mean on a government level?
If you've got unemployment, who's down to the unemployment office right now? I would presume they're closed, correct?
No. The employment offices are still open. At least
Okay, so the actual,
all of this stuff is done online, but they do have people who are still working in those offices.
so you've got people that are there doing the still the same checkpoints is what I'm saying. The so and so, like say I apply for it and then I've got to turn in from 2 weeks from now, that I applied for 10 jobs. Is there somebody in the unemployment office that's still verifying that I've applied for my 10 jobs?
Well, let's back up a minute. There are humans that are still showing up to work at the unemployment office.
Okay.
They're processing these applications as fast as they can, and their phones are slammed with people who are asking them too many questions.
Right.
About all of this.
Uh-huh.
But as far as whether they're going to make you jump through the hoops, once again, Texas still says you've got to do the request for funds, the benefits every 2 weeks. But whether they're going to make you say, yes, I look for jobs, blah, blah, blah. Once again, that's an unknown. Just like a lot of this stuff, it's an unknown.
Okay. So at this point, we don't have a for sure answer. And if we did, it'd be subject to change, much like the rest of the information that we have at this point.
Yeah, and like I said, every state is different as far as what you get and how long you get it and who qualifies. But basically, this is kind of it's kind of a parallel to this Paycheck Protection Program loan that the SBA is running. They want people who used to work and make money to be able to get some money.
Exactly.
So that's the point. And I mean, I read about some poor woman who called her unemployment office 700 times, and
Jesus,
the phone didn't get answered. So if you can do it online and get your questions answered, do it. But first, once again, folks, go to careeronestop.org and it'll tell you what your state is doing. And then you can go to your state, fill out stuff online, and do that. But the real message here is there are ways to help yourself, but you've got to be proactive.
Okay. So don't just go sitting on the couch, say figuratively, like someone I know might be doing, maybe eating some Oreos, playing with dogs all day, not really trying to, do anything to help themselves, April, and then sit around and bitch about it. You got to,
if you can and don't need any money, more power to you.
Exactly. Sit on your fat ass then. Otherwise, get on your little damn laptop and figure something out.
Once again, if you're eating SpaghettiOs, and you need a few bucks, go get it.
There it is. Exactly.
That's what these programs are there for. I don't want anybody taking, funds that are going to be that are there for the people who really, 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 really need it.
Right.
And there's currently legislation pending to find some federal funds that they're going to kick down to the states to give them more money to do this.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
But once again, folks, the sooner you get in the queue, the better, because it's taken a while to get this stuff done. These people are working their asses off. So don't bitch and moan and complain that they haven't gotten back to you in 24 hours.
Right.
You know,
Because they just dealt with 4,852 people prior to you. And I promise you, you don't want this broad snapping. You know what
well,
I
and they're,
mean? So just play
yeah, I mean,
nice,
everybody's
wait your
pissed
turn.
off and desperate, you know, so just have some patience and be a decent human
Exactly.
and don't
You
abuse
ain't
the
the only
people.
angry bitch in the queue.
Yeah,
Every
don't
bitch in the
abuse
queue
the
is
people.
angry.
Don't abuse the people who are showing up at work because they're trying to help you. So,
Exactly. All
you know,
right. All right.
the whole be a
Rock on
decent.
with the next one then.
All right, moving on. Let's see, what did I get to? Oh, I don't know how many business owners we're going to be talking to out there, so I'll just give you the view from 30,000 feet. On SBA.gov, if you go to that website, there's a banner at the top that says COVID relief options. All these programs under the SBA are either brand new or they're a variation on one that was already in existence. For instance, the economic injury disaster loan. That always existed for hurricanes, for Harvey, for all that sort of stuff. The one that's going on now is streamlined. And that's another one that many people are confused about. I'll get to that next. But first of all, the Paycheck Protection Program. Loans up to $10 million. Forgiveness is possible, but the purpose of that is to keep your employees paid. So if you don't have a ton of employees, or I would urge businesses that have shut down and still have the ability to rehire and employ people and help them that way to go ahead and try for it, because the computation of the loan proceeds used for payroll ultimately at the end of the day will be forgiven, so you can pay these people for 2 months and pass the benefits through to them with no penalty to you. Okay, so that's that.
Now that's a good one for some of the, some of the people that have, like, I know that all the salons and whatnot had been, that was heavily covered on the news, was that, the beauticians, the, whatever, all these ladies that are out here that got these little trinket shops, your wedding photographers, your, whatever, the people that are in your life every day, but you don't necessarily think about the fact that they do own those little businesses, that, Barb that does your hair, she owns that little shop, and she has no revenue right now. People can't go and see her, and she's just trying to keep the doors open and make sure that the people that pay her booth rental, and whatever, that, granted, they're contractors, but then she's got that little girl that she pays to answer the phone. She's got that little girl that she pays to come in, and do the little shampoo jobs, whatever. She's got, people to pay too. So I would presume that would extend, to them, so
there
that they
is
can.
Yeah, there is a question right now because they're going back and forth. Once again, they tried, they had to do it fast and they wanted to do it right now. There's a question up in the air about 1099, what's called miscellaneous people. So once again, this is something you're going to need to look at in your specific instance, to make sure that you do it right, and that you get the maximum benefit of this program. It gets to the people who need it, and that you, in the end, don't have it come back to bite you in the ass as the business
Right.
owner.
Yeah, we
Now,
don't want any ass biting.
I will say, for the hairdressers, I called mine, and she's just like that. And I told her to go for both the, because the unemployment stuff applies to her. That pandemic unemployment. Those
Right.
people didn't used to be covered, but they are now.
No.
So once, like I said, it gets very confusing, and I'm trying to keep it simple, and I think I may be getting overly complicated. But this is kind of like mix and match, animals. Zebra goes with zebra, elephant goes with elephant, but in this case, the armadillo may go with a hedgehog. So you can kind
and
of mix and match. So.
And that's the thing, is that everyone is, we're not dealing with a one size fits all. And unfortunately, we're one size fits all sitting our asses to the house, and you're going to have to do a little bit of legwork, people. But this is to at least point you in the right direction, to get you to the agency that may be able to help you get some fucking groceries in your house.
Exactly.
So if you go there and it looks like maybe it doesn't apply to you, what is the worst that can happen? You spend 10 minutes filling out an application and they tell you you're not approved. Okay, well, baby, you ain't got nothing else to do right now. You may as well fill out the fucking application.
Yeah, and the only thing and once again, I'm not disagreeing with anything you say. The only thing I would urge people to do is do the best you can to make sure that you have a better, how do I say this? That you probably may qualify, because if they're going to get inundated with bullshit applications for people that it doesn't apply to, and they've got enough that they need to handle for people who do
Exactly.
qualify.
If
So
you know that if you know you sat your ass at your house for the last 5.5 years and you ain't worked a damn week in those 5.5 years, bitch, do not apply for unemployment. Your ass been unemployed. Okay. That's not your situation. That's not your scenario. So stop wasting.
That's a don't take advantage type
exactly thing. You know who you are. I'm talking to you, Leroy. Don't do it again. You know exactly who you are. But for those of you that up until 2 weeks ago, you were still running tables, down to Applebee's, and they told you at the end of your shift, that all of a sudden they're closing their doors and only people that are staying are the people that work the takeout. Okay, that's a different scenario. Becky, go on and apply. That's you. You're covered.
Absolutely.
So okay, all right.
One thing, and another thing, for people who have been had their hours cut back, temporary furlough, whatever, you also fall within this pandemic unemployment thing. So you're entitled to some limited benefits based on how much you've been cut back, et cetera, et cetera. So
right.
That's important, because it can help supplement your income while you're under the COVID crisis.
Okay. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people aren't understanding is because they said, everybody is going to get, X amount from this COVID stimulus payment, whatever, that doesn't extend to any of these other benefits. There's not going to be a one size payment, a $1 amount that everyone is going to be getting from unemployment, or that everyone is going to be getting from. No, it's going to go on what you made, what you blah, 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 the same way it's always been configured. It's just that it now extends to people that maybe didn't qualify for it before, as far as what you do for a living.
Yes, and in a different manner. I mean, it's everybody's situation. Well, like I said, I've seen some of these questions on Quora that are just like, everybody's specific situation is different. That's why lawyers always answer questions on there with "it depends." Because there's just no way to give anybody enough details to figure out what exactly applies to them. But there is a mix, match, stack approach to getting the benefits you need to get through this. And some of them are not federal. Look at the state, look at the local.
Right.
Because there's stuff going down to the county and the city level as
Right.
well. You're going to have to do some legwork, but you can get the assistance you need.
Okay.
Now, everybody also believes that there's this get them $10,000 for free under the that stimulus package, the SBA stuff. That's not what's happening. There is part of the economic injury disaster loan that is a grant. It's not $10,000. It's up to $10,000. You fill out the application online, and they're going to do a computation and they're going to figure it out. So all that urban legend about well, April, you and I talked about this one, and that's where I got it wrong. I mean, I've been through 3 webinars on 3 separate days by the same guy, and every day he's clarified another aspect of it.
Yeah. And I mean, when we walked through it, a lot of it was very, except for the am I a sex worker question, which may or may not apply, it's.
Well, no, that's clarified. I can tell you what that's all about. So.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. Is it what we thought, that if you're a webcam girl or whatever, Is that what the question was related to?
The question, all those qualifying questions were to prevent, since cannabis is illegal at the federal level, they don't want any of the cannabis people, they don't want smut peddlers, and they don't want gambling.
Well, I peddle smut, so.
Unless you're doing it for a living.
I mean, I peddle smut every day, but they call those articles. So.
Yeah, if you're giving it away for free in public.
Listen, Brian, don't you laugh at me like you don't know I peddle smut. You jumped in on the front end. You've been peddling smut your damn self, boy. I don't know why you laughing like this shit's funny.
The message to the general public is the SBA isn't giving away money for free, so get that thought out of your head and go to the SBA.gov website. Look at the loan packages they're offering. One of them's forgivable, one of them's not. You can apply for both, and it's not a big deal. You can get them.
Just don't do it if you peddle smut, because they don't want that. That's so y'all know I'm out. So
yeah, I know. I'm sorry, April. Now, just because there's so much of this stuff out there, people are going to abuse these. People are going to scam them. And they're doing this, just to give you an idea. On Friday, Bank of America got 85,000 applications totaling $22 billion under the Paycheck Protection Program. Okay.
Whoa, hold on. On one day that happened.
No, that's one bank, one day.
One day.
Yep. Jesus
Christ.
So and because they want to get this money out to people quickly, it's a low doc, low information, quick turnaround type deal. So these are going to get scammed.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage people who want to use that Paycheck Protection Program, if they're entitled to it, to get their application in relatively quickly.
Yeah, because it's gonna get hairy real fast.
Well, I mean, they've set aside $349 billion for that program.
Mm-hmm.
One bank got $22 billion in one day.
Wow.
And,
okay,
and they're doing it in 75 days. They're going to go through 17 times the annual SBA loan budget in 75 days.
Oh my God. Okay, so I mean, it's major moves over here that they're making. I mean, what is this going to do? What is this going to do as far as the banks, though? I mean, are they? Because I know everybody's cut back, to what's necessary. You're working from home 6 hours a day. I mean, are they going to be able to handle all this and process all this?
And that's why everybody, once again, the people on Quora who are bitching and moaning and whining about why did they even bother to do this if they can't handle it? Well, shut the fuck up. Okay.
Exactly.
They've help you. Yeah, it's a streamlined application form. The banks are handling it. The SBA has given them basically a hold harmless agreement if they fuck up.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gives the banks a little bit of leeway to be diligent, but get this stuff done fairly quickly.
Right, to make sure that if they're part-time teller who really don't know what the hell she's doing, kind of mess up a little bit of something, that maybe it's going to be okay. Because listen, we didn't really have all the help. We didn't know we was going to get this $75 billion in here today. So we was just trying to, get y'all's money. So
yeah, and just because people are in a hurry, I don't want anybody, once again, I'm not suggesting that they're moving so fast that they're not going to be, as careful as possible.
Somebody's going to come back and look at it eventually, so please don't think, people, that just because you can maybe slide something under the radar right now, that it's not going to come back even 5 years from now. Do you really want to have to go and maybe look at tax judge in the face 5 years from now? Probably not. So if you think
on the back end of that Paycheck Protection Program, there is going to be the whole forgiveness process, which they haven't even told us what that is, and that's going to require documentation and box checking and blah blah. And if you don't check the boxes, you don't get the loan forgiven.
Exactly.
Once
So
again,
I mean,
not free money.
Let's not all go out and just jump on every website and apply for everything and hope to God that nobody catches us, because eventually, there's going to be somebody that does do the back end of the work.
Oh well, they've already said, the SBA, they have a criminal investigation division, and they are not stupid, because of course they've been through this rodeo before. And I'll just tell anybody listening who thinks they're going to be cute, you fuck with the SBA, it's up to 5 years in prison, up to a fine of $250,000. If you submit it to a federally insured bank, up to 30 years and $1 million.
Okay, see, y'all can't do without a manicure for 30 years, okay? And I promise you, your nails ain't gonna look good when you get out of the joint. So just don't do it. If you know that what you're doing is, now, if you don't know, and if you're maybe on the fence, get somebody to, I mean, come on now. It's not that hard to reach out. Reach out to your resource. Call an attorney, if you've got the means to do so. Send Rachel.
Actually, April, let me stop you right there. You don't need to have the means. Just talk about me. You don't need to have the means to hire me, because if I help you with one of these applications, there is a portion to where you tell them who your agent was. And particularly like on the payroll protection program.
Yeah.
The bank is getting paid 5% of loans up to $350,000, and out of that, they pay me.
Wonderful. Now that's good news.
Comes out of the borrower's pocket, nor does it reduce the amount of the money they receive.
So in that field, and I remember that field very clearly, in that field, so if there are questions, if somebody does need to reach out to you, Rach, if they drop a message in your, in your inbox, and you assist them in filling out their paperwork, that would be where they need to, put your information in, is in that box there.
April, what we did was the EIDL, the emergency, the economic injury disaster thing.
Yeah.
Now on those, that's a fee that's recognized by the SBA to be allowable up to $2,500. If I do, more like legal work, it's got to be ticked and tied and accounted for. And I'm still not sure where that money's coming from, but the bottom line is, with my clients, I put it off and trust them.
Right. You just know that, if your people are getting some money, eventually everybody's going to be okay, but in the outside world, in the people that we don't necessarily, deal with on the day to day, so you're not sure yet, like if they need to reach out, like say they do what's the one that I did, the EIDL, that's what it's called. Right. Okay. If they need to reach out to somebody to help them with that, it's still not been clarified as to
number one, do not give them an advance.
Okay.
Number two, do not do a contingent fee deal. They're not allowed.
Okay.
If I'm getting you $350,000 on an EIDL, I can't take $35,000 of it. That's bullshit.
Okay.
Nobody should agree to that. And God forbid, do not say, I'll let you put it in your quote unquote attorney's trust account and you can pay me out of that.
Oh, dear God.
Don't do it. Don't.
Okay. All right. That's good information, because I can see that being a problem. I really can.
I'll tell people that on any of the SBA stuff, the local assistance offices of the SBA are still open, and they're still taking calls, and they will still help you. There is a local assistance directory on the SBA.gov site, so you can find a local office there.
Okay.
And like I said, just don't pay a professional you don't know, or who doesn't have credentials that you can check out.
Mm-hmm.
money
Mm-hmm.
to do this stuff. It's just
If this is not your normal tax attorney, if this is not your normal CPA, if this is not somebody that you have an ongoing relationship with, don't develop one right now. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. Just, you don't know where these people are coming from. We've just sat here for an hour and a half telling you about all of these horrible people that are taking advantage of people. If it's not somebody that your mama used for 5 years, or that you ran your business taxes through back in '07 through 2012, then come on now, be smart, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, now is not the time to decide you're going to trust somebody. I mean,
you're damn right.
Now's the time to, it's kind of like defensive driving. This is
That's
defensive
right.
survival.
That's right. We're not, don't feed these sharks any more than what they've already set out to consume. Okay. I'm talking with somebody here who, I deal with on the daily. Otherwise I would have been like, hold up. Listen, I don't know you like that. I don't want you in my papers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is not the time to be getting friendly with people about money. So
because even, I mean, what they could do is say, pay me $250 and send me all your stuff and I'll get it ready. Well, all of your stuff is going to have bank account information, your social security
number. Yeah. It's got any and everything to A, take your identity, B, get in your little bank account for whatever the hell little 75 cent you still got in there, and C, who do you really want to be giving your mama maiden name to? I mean, people, just be smart. Don't get out here and give any and everybody your info willy-nilly. This is not the time for willy-nilly or milli-vanilly, if you really want to know the truth.
Well, and this is kind of the last topic I wanted to get to. Before anybody out there has to go to one of those fucking vultures like the payday lenders or the title loan people, Jesus Christ, I hate them worse than God is.
They're awful.
Yeah, please, if you have a problem with rent, if you have a problem with utilities, if you have a problem with your car payment, contact the person you owe the money to.
That's right.
There's probably a way to work it out with them. Some of them are specifically instructed to work it out with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Verizon, all those people have said, we'll give a 3-month deferral or whatever. But once again,
we're seeing,
if you don't have to, don't do it.
We're seeing, as a matter of fact, is it GM that's running the commercials right now, that if you get a new vehicle, or if you, whatever, if, you've got 3 months, we understand everybody's going through blah, 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 we're going to go ahead for the first 3 months and put it off till you can get back to work and get a car payment underneath you.
Right.
We'll work with you. We understand what you're going through, so if you've got one of the biggest car lenders out there willing to do this, it's not necessarily going to work with, Mo down the road that you owe for, the materials that you got for your fence, 9 years ago that you still ain't paid off. But I mean, let's be serious. He ain't come and yoked your fence out the ground yet. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be cool with another month. Just call the people,
and what really bothers me is not the big boys, but those fly-by-night asshole, no credit, no problem people.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, listen to me here. If you've got some, slumlord who's running your apartment complex who, didn't fix a toilet on a good day, threatens you with, eviction, et cetera, repossessions, evictions, they're just not happening right now. So if Joe's Easy Credit car lot says we're going to come take your Hyundai or whatever it is, many states are leaning towards possession. Repossession is illegal because it violates the stay-at-home order. The repossession guy has to get out of the house. As far as bad landlords evicting you, well, how are you going to get an eviction order if the courthouse is closed? Can't happen.
Well, I'll tell you this, here, Hillsborough County, which David G is the man, but Hillsborough County said immediately, as soon as the first portion of the situation got out. This is before Florida was under, because, you know, we were one of the last ones to go, you know, under stay-at-home order, because our governor was like, oh, nah, it's cool. Everybody still get out there and do what you do.
Yeah.
Well, our sheriff has said he's not serving any eviction notices. He will not serve them. He's not sending his deputies out to put a piece of paper on your front door telling your family to leave. He's just not doing it. You know, he said what happens after you know, this portion of things have been settled is yet to be determined, but he will not send a deputy to your house to serve you an eviction notice during this next 30 days. He's just not going to do it. You know, so I commend him for that, because I don't think anybody else all the way down to Miami-Dade has done as much.
No, I
You
mean,
know, everybody else is just like, well, you know.
In the CARES Act itself, there is a national moratorium on evictions, but that's only for mortgage, for, you know, government mortgage-backed places, and it's, you know, it's got about
it's through HUD, you know. Yeah, I had looked into that for a friend of mine who, you know, they were concerned whether or not they could be, you know, tossed out of their home, and I think that was the confusion, is that everybody thought that nobody could be evicted at this point, and that's not true. You know, now if you do have, you know, your funding through anybody affiliated with HUD, then yes, that does apply to you. No, HUD is not going to throw you out on your ass right now, you know. But other than that, if you're under, you know, an independent landlord, you know, or you have a mortgage through whomever, you know, then yeah, baby, that's you. You know, you might want to make sure you know, you call your people. You better call down to Wells Fargo and tell them you ain't got your house payment, you know, or talk to your landlord.
Be careful, communicate with the lender, because a lot of them have been very understanding. And well, I just read, there was a great answer on Quora that I just read before we started this, by a girl who said she and her husband were in an apartment with a very nice, you know, with a landlord, an individual who owned the home, and they realized that even though they could have said, yes, we have a problem, we're not employed, we can't pay our rent, they knew it was going to hurt her. I mean, so, you know, and they could pay. So even it's once again, even if you can, don't do it. I mean, I'm sorry, even if you can, but you shouldn't. So just
exactly
who you're dealing with on the other side. And once again, just because you think it's a giant frickin' bank doesn't mean that you should take advantage of the situation. So,
well, I'll tell you this. I have a friend who is a GC, you know, general contractor, and he was behind in his rent because of the slowdown in work and whatever. His landlord actually allowed him to do some upkeep on one of the units that he owns in order to pay what he owed. You know, so these people are really extending, you know, different helping hands. If you just tell them what's going on in your life, just work with the people that you owe money to, is basically what you need to do. Give them a call and talk to them. You know, they're people too. They understand, you know, so everybody's out here doing what they can. And if you don't try to be a dick about it, if you try your best to get things done, and people, I know who's out here trying and who's sitting on their ass not doing anything. Trust me, I watch these people come and go all damn day long, you know. So if you're one of the people who, you know, you've always taken care of your stuff, you're not out here trying to get out from under your bills every month and whatever, I would almost put money on it. Your people gonna work with you if you try to work with them. You know, just let them know what's going on. Don't automatically assume that because there's a moratorium on, you know, on evictions for HUD folk, that's going to extend to you, because there's only one county here in the state of Florida that ain't serving them, you know. So, and if you don't live in Hillsborough County, then you pretty much out of gas, because I believe me, Highlands County is still going to come over and throw you out the house, you know. So just please people, call who you need to call, you know, deal with who you need to deal with, but just be proactive. Don't wait until the day they're coming to put your kids on the street before you try to, you know, get a little bit of help. Call somebody.
And a lot of people are just like, well, you know, we don't know how long this is going to go on. I don't know what to do. Okay, just assume, I hate to say assume the worst, but assume it's going to go on for a while.
Exactly.
Start helping yourself now,
Mm-hmm.
but don't overreach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff available to you now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm not saying don't ask for it until the last minute, but be ready. Get educated and be informed.
Absolutely. That's great advice, Rachel. That's great advice. That's I think that's the best way it can be said right now is that, you know, why are you waiting to see if it lasts another month? You're going to be way behind the eight ball in another month. You know, go ahead, start planning for next month right now, just like you would do if you were still earning a paycheck. You wouldn't wait until next month to look at next month's bills. They're coming in the mail today, you know, so go ahead.
Don't buy a $39 package from a real estate agent in Florida telling you everything you need to know about keeping your financial.
For the love of God, please don't. For the love of God, please don't. Because everybody knows that Florida is the home of the people that will run with your money. So please, please just treat it like you do after a hurricane, people. It's the same mindset. You've got to be in the mindset that you don't know when them lights are coming back on. You don't know when we're going to be able to get out the baby pool, you know, and float down the street and have to stop grilling the meat that we had in the deep freeze and whatever. Treat it the same way. Treat it like you don't know when we're going to be okay again. So just
anybody who's heard something on this podcast and has an older neighbor who gets Social Security, or they have a couple that lives next door to them, spread the word on these scams. Make sure people know. It's too easy for people to sit and not be smart and get taken advantage of. And if you know somebody, I just make it a habit of saying, oh, by the way, did you hear about this?
Yeah. And you know what? We're played on everything, y'all. Okay. So Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, you can find us everywhere. We're on Substack. I don't care what you pull up. If you feel like this is relevant to whomever it is you deal with, let them hear it so that everybody can at least look out for one another. Please don't let your granny get taken advantage of. Please don't do that. You know, if it sounds like something that she was telling you about when you was over there picking up some lasagna last week, go over and talk it out with her. See if this is what happened. You know, just look out for one another. This is not the time. This is not the time to be, I don't care about whether or not, she threw your kids off of the grass. If your neighbor is sitting over there and there's some shyster ass dude, who has been approaching her about this, that, or the third, help her. Don't let these
and if anybody comes to you and says, hey, did you hear about this? I can get this, shut it down. Mm-hmm. Tell them to, just make everybody that you know as aware as possible that these things are going to be happening.
That's right.
Be happening by email. They're going to be happening by phone. They're even doing it by text.
That's right. Honey, we replay as often as you need us to for the free. Okay. So you can play this shit for everybody you know. Like, we ain't charging you a dime for this, although I'm going to have to eventually pay Rachel for taking up all her time like I do. But, I figure I got it on the house.
Snacks.
So, but, this is the info that you need. And we're not saying, okay, this is going to cover everything. But damn it, this is a good start. Okay. So replay this as many times as you need for as many folk as you need to. Just get the word out there.
I agree. So I think, like I said, that pretty much hits the high spots. Maybe we'll advertise that, there'll be a follow on if we get some good questions. And,
absolutely. B-Man, what do you think? B-Man, what do you think about that? Have you, cause I've been in punishment on Quora, so I ain't been allowed to get out there and do my normal thing that I do where I, let everybody know this is going to be the buzz and whatever.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because I've had too many reports. Evidently, I've been a bad girl. I haven't. I just have somebody who's, being a hater right now. I think it's one of the chicks that we booted off. Yeah, but that's okay. They throw me off every now and then, and that's okay. I got other platforms to
Well,
annoy people.
I cut and pasted that I hate evil people thing in a
Uh-huh.
couple of answers.
Uh-huh.
They deleted it because it violated policy.
BNBR. Yeah, that they've been doing that with
No,
everything.
I did. That was, it wasn't a BNBR. I don't even know what the fuck it was.
They're
Was
out
this
of
like a
control.
vague, just violated some vague policy?
Maybe they thought I was trolling for business or something, and I'm going, wait a second, I'm trying to help people not get screwed, and you've got people on here who are abusing people right and left, and you're collapsing my answers.
And you know what? That's one of the things that I threatened them with whenever they sent me my last little notification before they put me in the punishment corner today. I said, wait until I write my scathing article that I'm gonna write about the shit that y'all let slide and what y'all decide is okay for public consumption. It's okay for a child molester to be on here hitting on a 13-year-old girl and talking about he wants to see nude photos and whatever. But you know, we're over here trying to actually do a little bit of good for somebody, and you sons of bitches, this is how you react. So trust me, I'll copy all of core moderation on my scathing article that I send right on over to Medium and post there for every fucking body in the world to read. So I plan to make good on that threat probably today because I'm feeling real bitchy. So what I say, Brian, that I was feeling supercalifragilistic bitch face,
That is
and
what you said.
that's damn right, and I stick with that 100%. So,
well, I
but
appreciate
yeah,
you
Brian,
guys very much letting me have the floor and going on my little bit of a rant here.
we
But
appreciate you. We
nothing
appreciate you.
nothing pisses me off more than these scum suckers who take advantage of people who are
Exactly.
already in bad situations, and I just don't want to see people get hurt by just their
Vultures, bottom feeders, douchebags. And, you know, I got a couple cousins that are in that industry. You know what I mean? They ain't really invited to the crib on Thanksgiving. I think it's, you know, this is nonsense. Bri, have you had anything on the question front as far as, you know, in Rachel's field? I know that, you know, generally whenever they find out that we're hanging out with people, you know, that actually know what the hell they're talking about, you know, they kind of know to come to, you know, the forum and whatever, and just pose their question there in either the comment field or whatever. But I have yet to hear anything, but I know that we will after we put this on air, you know. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll get this uploaded as quickly as possible, as a matter of fact, and I'll put it on every, you know, every avenue that we're heard on. You know, I think the longest that it takes is over on Google, and that'll be up by in the morning, you know. So we'll go ahead and get that out there, and then that way, if we hear anything, you know, we can go ahead and monopolize some more of your time, Rachel.
I'm going to tell everybody who hears this that my bullshit meter is set to way high.
Mm-hmm.
So do not think I'm going to help anybody scam these deals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So
yeah,
just that's.
Keep it honest, keep it right, keep it tight. As long as we're trying to be good people, you know, we're
Once
we're looking
again,
to
not
help
giving legal
you.
advice, specific questions, you know, blah blah. But I know where to go to find the information, and I'll do what I can to help.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We appreciate you and your time. All these billable hours. So but as soon as we get this out, I'm sure we'll, you know, definitely have some questions and whatever. You know, everybody can look at this. Hello, Slade. Hi.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, we need to figure out how they're, you know, because once again, like Quora, there's 18,000 of the same question posted, and you know, it's not like I can go through every single one and say SBA.gov, SBA.gov, SBA. You know, there's just
Absolutely. But I don't mind, you know, I don't mind routing, you know, we've got, like on Substack, it's got certain filters. We've got, you know, ways to go ahead and, you know, kind of streamline that process. And I'm going to take a look at that this evening. And I'll let you know what I find out as far as, you know, keeping it from being a million questions on one topic, like over at Quora. I don't think that's going to be your best avenue as far as, people that need help. I think that the people that do need individual help, or that have questions that are topic specific, would probably fare better reaching out to you on a different platform than that.
Well, and like I said, there's some stuff that there's just not enough hours in the day for me to figure out. So
yeah, I mean, we can listen. If you own 17 businesses, and you employ 48 teenagers who are bussed in at 79 miles an hour, bitch, we can't help you. Okay. Listen, stop it.
those people I have chained in the basement are for my personal use. So
exactly. And we're not filing for them. Okay. We're not getting you no fucking groceries for those individuals chained in your basement. That shit ain't our business. Keep them in the damn cellar like you're supposed to. So, Brian, what you got on it?
First of all, I want to say that I'm so glad that we got Rachel on.
Me too.
Because I'm like, man, what have we been missing? You know
what we've been missing. Damn it.
I mean,
I have my own take on your real subject of relationships too, because God knows I have, between the ex-con and the raging alcoholic, I've done so well in life.
Ooh, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get a chance to introduce you by saying, Houston's own. Because I was looking forward to
He's been waiting to do that.
I forgot to tell people, I'm a lawyer. I practiced for 30-something years, and I've done tax resolution, I've done IPOs, I've done, blah, blah, blah. So, I've got a fairly Renaissance background. Once again, not an expert in any of this stuff, but so.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty excited though. Brian, say Houston's own. Say it.
Houston's own.
And the crowd goes wild. Thank you.
We are at about 10 minutes from 2 hours.
Okay.
So, is there any last minute things that anybody wants to add before we wrap this thing up?
You two. What's the main concern that you're hearing out there in the world? Anything in particular that I did not address already?
Well, on my end, it's more related to the virus itself, rather than financial assistance, just because, in my circle, in my field, most people are still out there working. So the concern is more people not taking it seriously initially, and then let's say somebody that they know got sick, had to be hospitalized several times.
Right.
People not practicing social distancing.
The COVIDiot type stuff, yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen an uptick in people responding appropriately to it, but it did take longer than it should have, really.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a few weeks ago, I witnessed a lot of people still, shaking hands, backslapping, giving dap, and all that kind of personal contact, close contact. But definitely in the past few weeks, people have been further away from each other, and I can't speak to washing hands because I don't see them do it, but nor do I really suspect that they do because they're people. So,
Brian, you remember the Walmart story? I followed that bitch right into the produce section and told her, bitch, I don't want your hands on my avocado. I know you was in there not washing your hands. Don't think I don't recognize your shoes, nasty bitch.
Well, one of my nursing staff went to Walmart and Kroger today. I didn't send her to Walmart because I wouldn't even send, I wouldn't send a person I hated to Walmart. But she needed to go for her own purposes. And she said that was relatively civil, but at the Kroger here in the upscale neighborhood, two people almost got into a fight over somebody taking the last. I do actually believe they had a package of toilet paper. So,
wow.
Okay, so Rachel, my sister, she likes to shop at the HEB. I want to say, is it on? It's not Westheimer's. I think it's on San Felipe. I think
it's on San Felipe. It's San Felipe and Fountain View.
That's it.
Yeah, that's literally a block from my house.
And I've told her, like, don't go, if you're gonna go to that one, don't go during those peak hours. But she has a tendency to go at, in the middle of the day. I told her, look, do like I do. I go shopping when the store first opens, so that way I can get it out of the way and I'm not near anybody, But I've tried, I've tried to, give her some.
I'm not sure if that one has set, because some of them have gone to that hour or two for old people, etc. And it's, I don't know if they've limited the hours. So there, and with everybody at home, there really is not time anymore.
I'm sorry, overlook the dog. If you hear random growling coming from my end of things, it's just dogs. It's not me.
Is there anything the dog would like to ask me?
Well, Poot, would you like to ask anything? She would like to know when these people are going to get the hell back to work. She's tired of these kids being everywhere. She can't stand it. But that's, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm hearing over here is the shit with, because, our public school platform, when they tried to make all the kids go to online classes, well, first of all, it crashed. Secondly, I was pleased to hear this, that they were going to be parking the school buses, which obviously are Wi-Fi equipped, parking the school buses in some of the lower income neighborhoods so that those kids could have internet, to do their schoolwork, which I thought was one of the best things I've heard.
Yeah, but it's horrific that they don't have it at home.
Yeah, and it sucks, and I think about those kids that are, out here, they can't do their schoolwork. They're falling behind. They're whatever, I keep my hotspot going on my phone all day long. It's to power my laptop and whatever. And even though I have cheap low-ation, internet over here, I know that, sometimes I see the kids next door hop on or whatever, and that I keep it open just for that reason, just because I don't know what's happening in their world and I don't want to ask them. But if they need, 2 hours of my internet to get some math done, then I'm not going to be an asshole, and I think that maybe that's something we need to, relay to people, is that not everybody has it as good as some of us have it. Not everybody is still able to, eat and pay their internet bill and, whatever. And I mean, if you've got, the kids down the street hopping on your Wi-Fi, it ain't gonna kill you, for 2 hours out of the afternoon. Don't be an asshole. If you have
you want to talk
help.
Asshole. Oh, I'm sorry. The maid came by to pick up her check because I forgot to stick it in the mail this week. Mm-hmm. She told me that she had just gotten off work somewhere else cleaning somebody's house. She rides the goddamn bus. I said, oh my God, people, if you are wealthy enough or well off enough to have household staff like a maid that you pay
$100 home
to clean your house, pay them and let them stay the fuck home.
It's not even that. It's, you've got these people that, I mean, would it kill you? I know you got a driver, bitch. Have somebody, have you, whatever. Take them to the house. Like, don't make this woman ride the fucking bus. There are a lot of people that aren't able to stay home. They're not going to be paid to stay home. But please don't make that girl ride that bus like that. Don't do that.
If you can pay them to stay home, then do it. I mean, my maid, my maid has gotten her regular check every week, and she hasn't. I'm still sleeping on the same sheets.
Yeah, but that's you, Rach. That's you. Not everybody is as good as you are about, hey, and not everybody is worried about bringing sick into their house like you are. It would be fatal.
I'm just saying, for God's sake, people, once again, be decent human beings.
Just try to be good people.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick because that the school kids next door are hopping on your Wi-Fi. Don't be a dick because if you've got some cucumbers that are growing across the fence and your neighbor's kids are out there picking them and eating them. If you've got, I don't care what the situation is, just don't be a fucking asshole. Like, we've got enough of that.
Extra, now's the time to give back.
Exactly, exactly. You know, I mean, it ain't gonna kill you to not feed your leftovers to the dogs, you know, and go ahead and maybe take a plate to your neighbor, because God knows these fat ass dogs in my house don't need nothing else. You know, as a matter of fact, y'all all going on diets. You want a
Well,
diet?
I mean, Slate was pissing me off the other day, and I told him, I said, Slate, you know, if it gets really bad, you know, you're going on the barbecue first, Avalon second, but man, fried chicken
Ooh, I
goes.
can't believe you would make that kind of threat. That is crazy. Now, listen, these douches around here know that. First off, I would defend them in a zombie apocalypse. I'm talking about I'm going full on ham. Don't come near my dog. I'll murk everything when it comes to the fur burgers. But
Absolutely.
you know,
You know, you shouldn't be referring to them as fur burgers right now.
I know, right? Because that sounds tantalizing, doesn't it? And you
Well,
can't find
believe me, when I was representing that guy in Vietnam and was at his office in Hanoi, the dog butcher was across the street. So,
You know, I saw those dogs. Listen, I did not know these fuckers are eating, like, they got cage fulls of golden retrievers,
yep,
Rachel.
yep. Oh,
No.
believe me, you
You
know,
tell me.
if he hadn't died unexpectedly, you know, he was offering to buy us a house and have us live over there. I was going to start a nationwide Vietnamese inedible pet program.
Exactly. You can't have golden retrievers in a cage and tell me that they're so cute and chunky because they finna get eaten. I
Mm.
saw that on like PBS one day, and I swear to God, I damn near had a heart attack. I said, why these dogs all in? Oh my God, they're gonna eat these dogs. Oh my, and I'm like, oh, this
Well,
is
and
the worst thing I've ever seen.
actually over there, they're big on cats too. So
See, this is not okay. I don't need all that. Okay, nobody's eating no animals right now. Listen, feed y'all's neighbors your leftovers. Don't make them come and eat your pets. Okay, like we don't know how bad it could get, but let's just plan ahead. If you
right,
got some
you
extra
know,
shells and cheese,
it,
share it with your neighbors. You know what I
it
mean?
it's America, you know, it's not going to get that bad, but
It better not.
there are a lot of people in the shit, and we can help each
That's
other.
right. That's right. Now I have noticed the grocery store, it looks like you can walk in and get any cut of steak that you want, but you can't find a hamburger to save your life. So
Well,
it's
and that's why a lot of the people at the lower end of the spectrum are having a real problem.
yeah.
It's always been more expensive to be poor.
Yeah, and it is. It really is, you know. So you're not going to be able to get your hamburger helper right now, you know, but what you can do is you can get a 99-cent bag of frozen broccoli, you know, and that difference that you were going to spend on your box of preservatives, you know, go ahead, you know, and put that towards your meat. You know, just think logically right now, people. We ain't
Oh,
going
and
to starve.
if I see one more goddamn question on Quora about, you know, are we making sure that illegal aliens aren't getting these stimulus checks, blah, blah, blah,
Are
blah.
you fucking
Well,
kidding
okay,
me?
now is not the time for that shit. If they're here and they're hungry, just suspend all the crap.
Now, see, I haven't seen any of that, but I also don't follow any of those assholes that are, you know,
I stay away from the political stuff, but I just,
as
you
do
know,
I.
it came up in my, you know, what's the big basic question about a lot of
Yeah,
this.
Brian and I have a policy that we don't live at Whore Avenue or at Political Lane. We live right in the middle, you know, so that any of the dirty whore questions and any of the politic talkers, they got other places that they got to be, and we don't want no parts of them. But because we live next door, we get a little bit of the overflow, you know. So we try to weed all that from basically from my eyesight, because I have a tendency to lose my mind about shit like that. But you know, I don't see where being a dick about borders, about paperwork, about who's you know, illegally jumping onto your fucking Wi-Fi, about whatever it is that you, these are all first world problems that really don't make a fuck right now, you
Well, and I'll
know.
just say for the record that if it has to do with the $1,200 stimulus checks, if they don't have a valid Social Security number, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so you ain't got to worry about Jose getting you money, okay?
But why do you even?
Guadalupe is not fixing to fucking be able to get your stimulus check, all right? So you just chill out, people. Just chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I
Be
mean,
nice.
I don't want to make any of this political, and I will not make any of this political. So if anybody contacts me with a "Why did the Republicans fuck us by doing X" or "Why aren't the Democrats doing Y," I will ignore the shit
Yeah,
out of it.
you out of here. You out of here with the dumb shit. Don't approach us with the dumb shit. If you have a legit question, if you have a legit concern, bring it to the mat. Okay. Brian and I would be more than happy to hook you up with our friends in high places and those that know more than us. That would be namely Rachel. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, gatekeeper to a certain extent, because like I said, there's only so much
yeah.
I can do in this situation.
But if you bring the dumb shit to the table, just know we're going to do you like we always do. And Brian's going to go ahead and make sure that you don't step back to the forum. And I'm going to probably tell you off. So, so just come to us if you have any legit questions. Come to us if you have any legit concerns. As always, if you cannot feed your pet, I'm asking you, please do not surrender your pet because you can't buy a bag of food right now. Contact me. I will help you any way, shape, or form. Anything to do with your animals, making sure that your dogs don't go to shelters because you can't feed them, your cats don't go,
April, one thing
wandering.
I'm going to do over the next day or so is I'm going to start looking for local charitable organizations at the state or whatever level for assistance for people who need stuff for their pets.
Okay. And we've got here in Florida, I actually have, it's a friend of mine running a food delivery system for pets. So, they don't mind. They'll drop you a bag. And like I said, I've got a friend here who also, he's an avid hunter. If you are in my area, if you're in the Tampa Bay area and you are having problems eating, he and his daughters don't mind leaving something on your porch for you. We've got resources. I know a lot of good people. Please just reach out to us, and if there's anything we can do, we will. There are lots of people out here who still can do a little bit. I'm one of them, Brian's one of them, Rachel's one of them. So
absolutely, kitties, puppies, salamanders, anything but
reach out to us. Please don't surrender your pets.
Yeah.
Please don't. I can't stand the thought of a dog going without a home and leaving the babies that he loves because you can't feed them. I will help you, and I will help you for as long as I possibly can until you're back on your feet. So please just reach out. Brian, you got anything, babe?
Yeah, I was going to say, you had mentioned earlier, in our little club on Quora that we don't really tolerate when people come on and try to push any particular agenda, whether it be political, whether it be religious, whatever the case may be. We don't need that on our space.
No.
And if you continue to do so, then you will be blocked. So you have to come.
Yep. Don't bring the dumb shit.
Yeah.
Don't bring the dumb shit.
And for goodness sakes,
again, if you come with a question, if you come with a reasonable question, not, why is the SBA or why is the PPP all fucked up? Why the Republicans not answering it? Irrelevant.
Yep. We're gonna keep it clean and in the lines, y'all. We're gonna keep it clean and in the lines. It's gonna be the same.
April, clean.
We won't be keeping it. Okay, yeah, I lied. We're gonna keep doing things the way we've been doing things, y'all. We're gonna keep being good to animals. We're gonna keep looking out for y'all. We're gonna keep, trying to keep things civil and in a fashion that is not unfair or biased, because I promise you, if you bring that dumb shit to us, I'm gonna tell you about your ass. You don't want to do all that, but if you're just good folk and you need help, if you're looking for answers, if you need help with your pets, if you need any of that, I urge you, come see us at Ask a Bitchface. You can find us on Quora. You can find us on Reddit. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Substack. You can Google Ask a Bitchface. You can find us, Anchor, Google Podcasts. Where else are we heard at, Brian? We're on Spotify. We're on Reddit. We're anywhere. And also you can find me on my throne. Anywhere that you can plug in Ask a Bitchface, you can actually Google me and it will link you to one or more of the sites that we are at. Just address it to Brian and myself. We'll get you where you need to go. If you need to be, sent over to Rachel, we can get you in the right direction. If you need help with your pets, we got you on that. If you just need somebody to reach out to, because shit is that bad right now. Holler at Brian and myself. We'll look out for you. You know, we understand shit's bad right now, but just
Well, we can, yeah, and
don't make it any
we can help
worse.
get you some information that can reduce the panic and make you a
That's
little
right.
bit calmer, because there's something out there pretty much for everybody who
Mm-hmm.
needs it. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Absolutely.
and you know, if one thing my research skills have taught me is how to get to things pretty much in 5 minutes that are kind of labyrinthine with all this stuff.
That's right. That's right. We need to utilize the resources that we have, and thank God we've got, you know, Rachel and her research skills. And y'all know how Brian is; he'll draw y'all up a fucking chart so fast. I swear to God, I'll have a Venn diagram in this bitch so fast it'll make y'all's head spin.
Yeah,
So
well, Brian's on the front lines doing stuff that's
right.
really
That's
important.
right. That's right.
Thank
And
you, B-Man.
thank you, Brian, for being our hero. So, you know, so everybody just please be decent human beings. That's all I have to say about this. And we will come back to y'all, you know, like we always do. God willing and the creek don't rise. And as long as my manicure don't chip, we'll be good. You know, but if you need us, you know how to get a hold of us. You can reach us. I'm at askabitchface.substack.com. You can reach out that way. You can reach out on Quora. Let's see. I'm also at askabitchface@gmail. So, you know, reach out. Let me know what your concerns are. If you need to be forwarded over, I'll get you where you got to go. Brian will, you know, address your concerns. If he's on the hotline, you know how to do it. All right.
Yeah, and I'm usually at assholelawyer.com. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Rachel's got a hotline now too.
Yeah, we use 1-800 fuckboy. So
damn right. Everybody knows I run 1-800
Damn, Rachel,
fuckboy.
we got to get you on again. We have got to get you on again.
Yeah, she's great, isn't she?
Well, I know you can see my face and see how stunningly gorgeous I am.
You know what? You're still rocking gorgeous, Rach. Don't you even worry about that.
Well,
so,
I need a haircut, but luckily I've been coloring my hair at home for years, so I'm good with that. So.
Right. It ain't no change this week.
This ain't a beauty contest. So
shit, no. They'd be lucky to even see me step out of the house at this point. I told Cynthia last night I made a damn mask out of one cup of a bra, but it covered my whole head and half my shoulders. So.
I didn't need that picture in my head. That's about as bad as Howard and his chaps.
Tell me that she said it encompassed your whole head and half your shoulders. I said, girl, that was one cup. What you made?
I always look better in a mask and low lighting, so you know, it's the perfect world for me.
Oh shit. All right, so I'm good. Everything on my front. If y'all good, we can go ahead and wrap, and we'll get it out to those that need to be hearing it right now. So
sounds like a plan.
All right.
All right. Well, everyone have a good week, and we will talk again.
Likewise, check in with me, B. Let me know what you got this week, okay?
All right, you got it.
All right.
Later.
There we